All right, there. So there we go. 3, 2, and 1. Well, Mayor Mike, welcome back. Mayors Monday here, WSAU, WSAU.com. Give us an idea of where you're at today,
So
this time.
I'm right here in my office.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I didn't know if it was a background and you were
I
on a
just,
beach somewhere
I just
or.
wanted to throw you off. So we're at the same place that everybody else is really.
Yeah.
The governor's order took effect on Saturday. We're still adjusting. We were ahead of the game in Stevens Point because we had been requiring masks at all of our city offices for some time already.
Hmm.
So people were coming in to get a bartender's license or pay their tax bill or get a permit. Were required to wear masks at City Hall anyway. The biggest change, I suppose, was with our transit department. We had required all of our employees to wear masks when they're contacting the public, even going so far as to ordering barriers. I still don't think those are installed yet to keep the driver of the bus separate from the riders. But now even the riders are going to be required to wear masks per the governor's order. So we're still working out the details on that. Our streets crews, for example, in the big shop where we keep all the heavy equipment, to the letter of the law, they're supposed to be wearing masks indoors, but it's big enough where there may not be the contact, and these guys are working in a different environment,
Hmm.
with the hot mix to patch potholes and things like that. So we're still working out what the logistics are, but the safest thing to do is just wear your mask. The most probably thing that was affected was the even outdoors. So we expanded our outdoor seating for restaurants and bars in the area to give them a bit of an advantage, or maybe not an advantage, but less of a disadvantage when it comes to social distancing and indoor seating, giving them those options. Now, even outdoors, specifically stated in the order, are outdoor bars and outdoor restaurants where they're going to be required to wear those face coverings. That also affects our playground equipment. Um, it's clearly outlined there that you have to wear them during in a park's structure. That is the jungle gym at Fiffner Park.
Hmm.
So we're working on those, but again, people should be making those practices part of their daily routine anyway. Washing your hands and wearing a mask in public, those sorts of things should have been going on already. It's now statewide, so I guess we maybe end that debate and we'll find something else for everybody to be divisive about.
Well,
It's unfortunate.
we remember we're talking about the internet here. Anything is possible. It seems
Anything is
like.
possible and everything is true, Michael.
Yes.
Everything you read on the internet is true. And one thing I've also learned is that social media is the place to change people's minds with your logic.
Hmm.
I hear about it every day that I disagree with you, so I'm going to yell at you and tell you why you're dumb, and you are going to miraculously change your mind.
Hmm.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
If you can't sense the sarcasm in that, you're part of the problem.
You're part of the problem. Yes, that's one of the things that we've heard a lot on the internet these days. Well, now that we've semi-opened that can of worms, we are going
Sure.
to close it and put it right back, because again, this is the internet. And we're going to talk about some fun stuff. Of course, we're promised we're gonna save that for the end of the interview. But you mentioned, uh, the way that you had been operating at the city of Stevens Point anyway, and stepping kind of towards the requirements of face coverings. And now that it is state law for about the next 60 days or so, I believe September 28th is kind of the sunset date on there, unless there's a preceding order that's issued before then. So how do you want people to prepare for this, besides the obvious, which is stock up on a face mask, be that a standard generic one, or one with a message on it, or a
Right.
logo on it, if you will?
And we're in an environment now where there's masks of every shape and size. Do what you feel is best. There's some scientific information out there. As you probably know, the size of a coronavirus particle is 0.13 microns, which is extremely small. However, it's never out there by itself. It's always attached to something. And generally speaking, the CDC and other scientific organizations use 1 micron as the guide. So a cloth mask, for example, made out of t-shirt material will stop about 60% of those particles that are 1 micron or greater in size. Probably does pretty good stopping a baseball too, but you still feel it. Whereas a surgical mask, for example, or the ones that the doctors wear, and those are about 95 to 97% effective in preventing the transmission of those 1 micron particles. And there's a whole gamut of things. So, I mean, you could wear a doily, and legally it counts, I suppose, as a face covering, but don't. Just try and be safe and protect yourself and those around you. I know that there's a big debate about it. You know, it's my rights and my freedom. It's not the case. We have seatbelt laws. We have helmet laws. You wear blaze orange during hunting. It doesn't prevent accidents or deaths, but it certainly reduces them, and that's why we try and do that. So, you know, please get over the debate. It's a mandate now, and if the mandate gets overturned, that's great, but you and I are not going to be responsible for overturning that mandate. Let those people handle it. And if it gets overturned, then it gets overturned. But for the here and now, find a mask that you are comfortable with and wear it when you can.
I don't know that I could have said it better myself there, Mr. Wiza. We will. Yes, we will.
Thanks. We, you know, it's been a topic of discussion, believe it or not.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you know, it gives us something to talk about here on talk radio sometimes too. But you know, at the end of the day, we've got to really look out for each other, and hopefully we will again get to a spot in the next few months where we don't have to have this debate anymore, and we can go back to debating things like when Aaron Rodgers should retire as the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers and things like that.
Hasn't he retired yet?
Things. What's that?
Hasn't he retired yet?
Not yet.
I mean, I haven't seen him at a football game, and yeah, it's been a year.
That is true.
Not quite that long.
Not quite that long, but
at least 6 months.
At least 6 months, exactly. We'll get to the fun stuff here now. We're talking about again outdoor events and things like that have been impacted by COVID-19. You did have the debates and shut down football games at Gorky Park there in Stevens Point. I mean, looking at that, kind of shuts down, you know, one of those things that people look forward to. But there's still some things going on in Stevens Point that you can get out and enjoy it during the week and on the weekends, right?
There certainly is. And, you know, I know there's both sides of that debate too, but it's a city facility. And now, especially in light of the order, you would be required to wear a mask within a park structure. And Community Stadium at Gerke Park is definitely a park structure. I don't understand how they probably can, but I don't know how they would be able to play a football game while they're all wearing masks. But we're going to put that debate aside for now because that's what the council chose to do. When things change, circumstances change, and they do pretty rapidly with this virus, we may look at it again. But for the here and now, the council has prohibited the use of Community Stadium for groups larger than 50 people. But that doesn't mean there isn't something else for people to do. We still have our sculpture park that's wide open. It's a big outdoor area. We just opened our off-leash pet swimming area, just part of Mead Park on the west side of the Wisconsin River here in Stevens Point. It's been a huge success. Every time I've gone down there, there have either been people swimming or people swimming with their pets, or maybe just the pets playing together in the river. And I think that was a big boost as well. Of course, our regular dog park is still very much open. Levitt Amp, our music series that is normally live at Piffner Pioneer Park at the Bandshell, has gone virtual. So every Thursday night, you can tune in and you can watch it outside at your house if you want. You can find a location that's public and watch it if you want, or in the privacy of your own home and air conditioning. But it's available, so you still have that live music venue. We installed our first public instrument. We got a piano that was donated from someone who was a friend of mine on Facebook that we were giving away. And I told her what we wanted to do. And we wanted to get a piano, paint it up very artistic like, and install it in a public setting so anybody could use it. And we know that it's going to be out in the elements and it's not going to last forever. That's why we didn't buy a new piano. We had a free piano. And as soon as I put the idea out there, we had someone step up and says, "Hey, I'll buy some paint and sealers so you can make it look pretty." And someone else says, "Hey, I'd love to paint it. Can you bring it over and I'll paint it for you?" And then we installed it. And the cost of installation was some L brackets and a couple of bolts.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll last for a while. It's not going to last. We don't have it out all winter. And we know it's not going to last a year. But it's going to be there as long as we possibly can have it. and it's available to anyone in the public. The past several times I've gone by there have been people playing all genres of music, and it's really cool to see that, where these people may not have an instrument of their own that they can access, and they can come downtown and play it. And when it gets warped and out of shape, out of tune, and we can't use it anymore, we take it away and throw it out, recycle it. And
Mhm.
I've got 2 more pianos lined up because people heard it and they're like, "Hey, when that one goes bad, you can have mine or mine."
Really?
Yeah, so we're set. It was a great thing to do with almost no out-of-pocket expense. Um, and now more than ever, Michael, people need something fun to
Oh,
do
yeah.
because everybody's on edge, and the littlest things are setting them off. My phone logs can attest to that, I guess. But having these little things to do, it at least gives people some sort of release.
Yeah,
Uh,
and you brought this up before we started recording here, and of course, the first thing I asked you was, "How are you sanitizing this piano?" You said you are taking care of that. You've got some wipes there, or people are bringing their own, or they're playing with gloves, whatever it is. Correct?
Right. So
And-
we provided some handy wipe type sanitizers. Obviously, that's not going to be there forever, and it's not going to be there all the time. So we just encourage people, if you want, bring your own sanitizer, wipe it down before or after you play. Wear gloves if that's what makes you feel comfortable, and of course, now with Governor Evers' order, um, wear a mask.
but nonetheless, be entertaining in some way. Correct?
Exactly. I can't play piano for squat, but I can hit the keys a little bit, and just going down there and having a little fun. It was Mr. Rogers in his show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, that he said sometimes just doing that, hitting the lowest keys on the piano, can be a good stress reliever. Don't smash it, don't hit it too hard, but if you need to get some stress out, bang those keys a little bit. Maybe walk down to Goose, grab a drink, and then keep on walking down to the square on Wednesday and listen to some live music.
That sounds like I might just do that this week.
There you
I
go.
might just do that this week. You might see me. We'll definitely look forward to that, because that sounds like some entertainment in and of itself. Hey, and
Right.
who knows? I've got another idea for you here. We'll give it to you free of charge when that piano does go.
Okay.
How about a nice charity fundraiser where you get some maybe some axes, a baseball bat, or something, and for $5 you get to take a whack at
Yeah.
the
You
piano
know,
on some stress
that's
relief.
that's not a bad idea because that would be another form of stress relief. Just taking a baseball bat to something for a little while, and maybe we can use the money to build a shelter over it so it lasts a
Mhm.
little longer next time.
Yeah,
I like the idea, Michael. When we do that, I'm going to invite you down here, and you will get the first honorary swing.
just make sure it's with a safe weapon, please. I'm
Well,
not gonna, I'm not gonna take a big axe or anything, but
no. I
hey,
think I think a
a
baseball bat is probably appropriate.
a nice Louisville Slugger. I've got
Oh,
experience with one of those.
yeah, we can
There
go
is
all office space on the piano.
absolutely anything else you'd like to add here before we let you go today, Mr. Wiza?
It's the time of the year where we're starting to get into the harvest. Public markets are open. Everybody wants to be outside. We've had a whole summer of disruption. Uh, Nobody likes it. Nobody wants to be in this type of environment. But what we need to do is remember that we've had good days and there's better days ahead. Let's kind of, I don't want to say write off 2020, but let's just ride this one out and see how it goes. The safer we are, the quicker we can get back to some sort of normalcy. And for God's sake, be nice to each other.
We'll try our best. Mr.
All
Wiza,
right.
always appreciate the time. And again, I'm gonna say it again. Better laid plans will be in the same room next month, right?
There you go. We'll try that again.
We'll try it again.
See you, Michael. Thanks a lot.
And we will